It's a lovely evening. Welcome to another beautiful edition of Sports Extraordinary here, and it is the Tuesday edition of the show. My name is Ekpo Temple, and on today's edition, we'll focus our attention on the decision of the disciplinary committee of the Nigeria Premier Football League here, as well as the game that was played yesterday far away, Ivory Coast, where the Super Eagles lost to the Square of Benin Republic. These and many more will be yours in RGF.
Greenwood's went for goal. Goalkeeper missed it. Oh, fight for him. He does a right hand and doubles ball straight away. Oh, what a point to end it on. So now this is when they're at their best. It's when they're 12 years for this. So drink it in. Still goes to to the immortality as an athlete. 19.79. It's a goal. It's an 8th goal.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought very firmly. Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
on the point of order.
Honorable
On the point of
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Driver, why you just dey jack us up and down like this now?
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask go?
Because this road where they see so, it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so e no dey, light o usa, the infrastructure nko e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, well everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one.
Greenwoods went for goal. Goalkeeper missed it.
Play again. Oh, fight for him. He does a right hand, and down goes Hooper straight away. Oh, what a point to end it on.
So now this is when they're at their best. And it's when they're 12 years for this. So drink it in.
Still goes through on New Zealand.
Well, he'd love to be immortality as an athlete. 19.79. It's a goal. His 8th goal.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people. All of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very family. Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Okay, for those joining us, I have Mama Michael here in the studio. It's raining here in Port Harcourt, but it's good to have you here, bro.
Yeah, good evening, Temple, and good evening to our viewers out there.
And of course, like I did mention earlier, for those of you who just joined us now, our focus will be on the Nigeria Premier Football League match day 35 played at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium. The decision of the league disciplinary committee, as well as the game that was played in Ivory Coast yesterday between the Squirrels of Benin Republic and the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Let me start with a lot of reaction. Of course, we know that the NPFL have spoken and they have imposed severe sanction on Eyimba International Football Club following the review of the official report from the match 35 fixture against Rangers Football Club. Now, the NPFL found Eyimba International in breach of several rules, including failing to ensure proper conduct, disrupting a live broadcast, throwing objects into the field and encroaching into the field, refusing to continue the match and causing the disruption and discontinuation of the match. Before I put a call across to an expert in the Nigerian Premier Football League, Mike, let me have your say on what you make of this particular decision from the league body.
Yeah, for me, I think the decision are very much spot on. If you take a look at some of the charges, you want to say yes, very spot on, because that actually captured the behavioral attitude of Enyimba players in that weekend Oriental Derby. I think the league body actually came up very swift, after much investigation, and also gotten their own report from the match commissioner as well. They were able to come out with this decision, which I think for me is a nice one. Taking a look at the sham, the shame and shenanigan that took place over the weekend at the cathedral in that Oriental Derby, I think this is not something that we want to see in our league, because it doesn't bring that trust. It doesn't bring that form of professionalism into the game when we begin to see this kind of arrogant behaviors from both teams. First, I think Enyimba on their part, they went too extreme in an attempt to also register their own frustration, because I quite understand conceding such late goal at that point in time where you are battling to see if you can be able to close up the gap against the league leader, talking about Rangers. I think it could be very, very frustrating conceding such penalty at that dying minute. But then there should have been a proper way to deal with it. They should have conducted themselves in a more professional manner, other than going riotous and other than going physical and violent against the match officials, against the center ref, against the crowd. I think it was a total breach of the rules of the game, which for me comes with heavy consequences, and that is why the hammer has landed against them. It will serve as also as a deterrent to other teams as well.
A deterrent to other teams. Let's see if we can put a call across to the media officer of Rangers International, and let's see if we can also hear from him. Let's know how far all that played out in that particular one, and of course we have to bring up. But for those of you who do not know, maybe we're going to see a clip of okay, he's there. He joins us now. Let's see a clip of what is happening, and I can tell you that Miss Okoli. Hello, Okoli, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Norbert Okoli is the media officer of Enugu Rangers, and he joins us live via call on the show this evening. Norbert, I'm sure you have seen the decision of the MPFL Disciplinary Committee. What is your take on that decision? Do you think that Eyimba truly were culpable? Of course, you represent Enugu Rangers, but from the point of all that transpired on life in the state of that day, do you think that they were culpable of the fine as imposed on the disciplinary committee, on them by the disciplinary committee?
Actually, the management of the Rangers have actually written the league organizers accepting the decision, but also appealing for a reduction in the fine. Then, for your question of how it happened or what happened on Sunday at the Namdas Stadium, I may not be in the proper position to talk about that because the organizer have already ruled on it. So we can't challenge that. So we like I always say, we are a team that always want to play by the rules, and we play by the rules. And for the further, we are apologizing to our fans about what happened, and then we are taking our lessons from it, and it will never happen again.
Okay, so a lot of us say the Eyimba media officer spoke with us, and he said that that was a harsh decision, giving your team the 3 points and 3 goals, on a bounce. That decision was not a good one, and to him, he felt that the players did not step out of the field as alleged on that day. What do you think?
Well, it's not like I said. The match commissioner, the referees have made their report, and based on the report that they made, that the organizers of the league took their decision. If they said that they didn't walk out on the pitch, what does the rules talk about you remaining on the pitch or not going out on the pitch for 15 minutes, holding the game to ransom? What does the rules say about that? More than 15 minutes. What does the rules say about it? So if you are saying that maybe you should go and juggle the rule books again, and then maybe call you back and then tell you.
Okay,
but for me, I'm not joining words with him. He has his right to his own opinion, and we also have the right to our own opinion. Like I said, we have already accepted the decision of the league organizers going forward.
Okay, going forward, do you think that there was over ticketing, or was that massive publicity? Can you tell us the reason behind the massive attendance in the stadium that day? Because they already accused your team of over ticketing, one that we haven't seen in the league, throughout the course of the season. So, what could have happened? Why do we have an overflow of spectators in the stadium that house 22,000 capacity?
Actually, the stadium is for 25,000 fans, but that's not to say that the number of fans that thronged the Namdas Stadium on Sunday was not more than 25,000. Yeah, it's a combination of many. A combination of many factors led to the overflow of supporters and fans into the stadium. But like I said, the league organizers have already taken their decision. So we talking about this is maybe flogging a dead horse. They've decided, we've taken it in its stride, and we have written back to them, accepting what they decided, only apologizing and appealing for a reduction in the fine. But let us also understand that it was how do you put it, force from the fans outside that broke down the main gate. That was why fans had to troop in that large number.
Okay, but going forward, what do you think? Going forward, what do you think that you need to do? Are we still going to get more of these fans in the coming days, or is just for this game?
I'm quite sure if you watch our game against Bayelsa United, it was an improvement of other matches. And then the game against Eyimba, surely you understand why it had to be so. It was an oriental derby. The first position against the second position. The defending league champions against the top side. And I'm sure that's what pushed the numbers. People came in from Aba, from Oka, from Onitsha, from Owerri to actually catch a glimpse of this particular fixture. About going forward, like I said, the media publicity regarding that match was very, very high, and I'm quite sure that led to that number. And we'll continue that said, but this time around, we'll find a way around it to ensure that we don't have that overcrowding onto the pitch again.
Now, what does the 3 points and the 3-goal advantage now means for your team?
Well, you can use your tongue to count your teeth. Yeah, that solidifies our position as the top side for now. We still have 3 more matches to play. We take every game as it comes. No 2 games are the same. And against Shooting Stars tomorrow, we're going to do our best to actually see that we get our targets realized here in Ibadan.
Many thanks to you. I'm sure you're already at Ibadan, preparing at the Masimba Stadium, preparing for the game tomorrow. Many thanks to you, Norbert Okoli, for joining us live on Atlantic Television Network today.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Keep the good job you're doing.
All right, thank you so much. Mike, I'm sure you heard from what he said. A lot of preparation, and the fact that he said everything about that encounter. Your view on all that he said?
I think first, he is a media officer, and you expect him to do his job. But in the angle of over-ticketing, I think that is where I'm not much comfortable. For a stadium that has about 22,000 capacity, had an overflow. From reports, it's over 40,000 persons turn out in that very one, which actually caused, the over-ticketing, overcrowd that we saw. Because if they had to do their proper ticketing, then I do not think that the crowd that was very close to the linesman or to the assistant ref should have gotten that space to be very, very close to the assistant ref, which for me is one of the problems. Because if the fans were a little bit distant from the assistant ref, I think before they could double down on the assistant ref, possibly the security men on guard should have been able to prevent them. But because of the proximity of the fans, direct to the assistant referee, they were able to also contribute in piling the pressure. When the Eyimba players ran down to the assistant referee or to the linesman to ask him the reason why he had raised up his flag for signaling an offside, and the center ref had to point to the center spot for a penalty. So if the crowd or the fans that turn out in their number were a little bit distant from the assistant referee, I don't think they should have been able to have that altercation between them and the Eyimba players that run toward the assistant ref to lodge their complaint. So I think the fine that was imposed on them in that regard is proper because they needed to, checkmate their crowd. Again, they did not put the adequate securities in place to be able to checkmate all these, the excesses of these fans. So for me, I think Enugu Rangers, on their own part, 5 million naira was imposed on them. I think it's something that they can deal with. But then, one thing very important for them is that the 3 points and 3 goals has been awarded to them.
Mike, let's take a retrospective analysis. If the game had ended peacefully,
yeah,
there was no problem.
Yeah.
Do you think that an investigation would have been carried out by the MPFA board on Rangers?
I doubt that investigation of the over-ticketing. It shouldn't have come in. We are seeing some of these charges, begin to spring up just because of this crowd troubles or the trouble that we saw over the weekend. Without that, I don't think this issue of over-ticketing should have come in. But then again, you know how things is being done right here. It is only when you are on the spotlight when you do everything possible to ensure that you cross the T's and dot the I's. But if you know, it was not on the spotlight, I don't think that the NPFL board should have dug deep to see whether there was an overcrowding or over-ticketing. I think all this thing is coming up just because of the problem or the challenges we faced over the weekend as regard to that game.
And very unfortunate, yeah, but one thing very clear is that, but Mike, what that tells me is, when you look at it from the point of advantage, is we can actually have crowd, football lovers that can troop in. I saw ladies, I saw women, I saw, young girls, standing, and although they were all violating the rules, standing, in the at the Titans track there, but then I felt that if we do proper advertisement of the league and like that penchant that got them to the stadium, I feel that if the proper branding, proper club licensing, we can get what we talk about in Europe. How they get to fill those stadiums in North America, in the northern part of Africa. We can get people come back to loving the NPFL. And clearly, I'm saying this because I was at Uyo and I saw what played out. I don't think that one was an intentional approach by the state government, to ensure that we have fans in the stadium. And we're talking about fans who left their home, came to watch games for between 8 and 9. I mean, 8 to 10, 11, and that's that love for the game. So it's something that it can be a movement and advocacy all around the league. What can we take? What good things can we take looking at what transpired in the last 4 days at Uyo and at the Cathedral in Enugu?
I think for me it's very simple. There are so many positives to take home from that weekend game at Cathedral and the game against South Africa in Uyo. One thing is very sure is that when you put the proper things in place, definitely fans will turn out in their number to watch our game. What we need is a little bit of branding and advertisement, and also the media as well to do their job by making sure that they disseminate information, as at when due, so that you get to the fans out there. Because building up to this weekend game between Rangers and Enyimba, you saw the media stunts between those two sides. Enugu Rangers, their media team were very impeccable in the way they were able to market that game. Enyimba, on the other hand, they did a lot in order to create that awareness. In fact, literally, before the game on Sunday, I had to put call across to a friend out there at the coal city talking about Enugu. And he said that even if you get to the restaurant there and you're a newcomer, you will definitely know that something is about going on. You get to the restaurant, they hand you a tract, you see, clearly, boldly written on the wall out there that it is a game, Oriental Derby between Rangers versus Enyimba. So these are things that we should learn to do over time and make it known to the public, make it known to the fans out there, because most time their media team, they are very, very adamant in trying to promote their clubs out there. And when you are adamant, the fans, the crowd may not get to know what is happening out there. But I think for me, like I say, a lot of positive, to take home. One is that if proper media hype is followed, building up to any game out there, definitely the fans will come out in their number. Then again, if proper security is also put in place, because that is another challenge here, that people find it difficult to go out to the stadium to watch a match that starts by 7 or 8, knowing fully well that the match is possibly going to end by 10, 11 or thereabout. Then how sure can these fans be that when they get to the stadium after the match, they are going to come back with their phones, with their electronic gadgets safely down to their house without any form of molestation, without any form of harassment? These are things that we need to, put in proper perspective before we can say yes. But then a lot of positive to take home from what we saw over the weekend between the game against the Super Eagles and that of South Africa, where we saw a large number of crowds turning out to watch the game. Then again, the Oriental Derby, we saw massive crowd out there turning out to watch the game as well. So many persons who couldn't even find their way to the stadium. Some of them were outside the stadium, from reports, because the place was jam-packed. It was packed filled with fans out there. So a lot of publicity goes a whole long way to promote the league as well, and to also encourage fans to come out in their numbers. So, because this is what we used to see in the 80s, in the 70s, where people come out in their numbers, despite the distance, you still find people taking pleasure in going down to cheer their darling team to victory. So for me, it is a clear indication and a testament that if all things are put in proper perspective, then the Nigerian fans will definitely turn out to watch their games.
If everything is put in proper perspective, we hope that we'll get to see more of the spectators in our various stadia as the MPFL, get to a climax. And I mean, in the title race, the decider, how impactful will this decision of the MPFL board or disciplinary committee make in the coming days? Looking at the point difference, it's I think it's 4 points now, 5 points between Enugu Rangers and Eyimba Football Club. And if that appeal did not stay true from Eyimba, it means that that 3 point is lost, and they have to fight it all now. They have to win all their games and hope their destiny, as now looks like it isn't in their hands anymore.
Yes, the impact of that decision is that 5 points. Enugu Rangers is already 5 points clear of Eyimba International. Courtesy of that 3 goals and 3 points that have been awarded to them. Eyimba is on 59 points right now, while Enugu Rangers is on 64 points. That is about 5 point disparity. So the impact is that Eyimba need to win all their games, hoping that Enugu Rangers is going to drop a point in the last 3 games that is remaining, hoping that they are going to drop maybe 3 points in one of those games before they can be able to possibly upstage them. Even if Enugu Rangers get to lose 1 game, they are still on a vantage position because it's about 5 point disparity. So Eyimba will be hoping that Enugu Rangers is going to lose their 2 games, and also them as well, they need to also win all their 3 games, before they can possibly start thinking of maybe contending for the title again. If not, courtesy of this decision, I think it's done and dusted for this season so far. You may want to say, yes, Enugu Rangers is running away already with the title courtesy of this 3 point and 3 goal, which deservedly has been awarded to them. I repeat, deservedly has been awarded to them. So I think they're on the run right now. It remains for Eyimba to try to play the catch-up game. If they can be able to win their 3 remaining matches, then also pray that Enugu Rangers get to lose 2 of their games, or possibly lose 1, draw 1, and win 1. Maybe going by goal difference, Eyimba might possibly catch up with them. But I tell you, it's going to be a very difficult one, because Enugu Rangers, led by Fidelis Ilechukwu, is not letting anything down. In fact, as we are discussing this issue that happened over the weekend, as early as yesterday morning, he has already taken his boys to their next match venue.
You heard from the middle officer that are already training.
That is to tell you how serious Enugu Rangers are. That is to tell you how serious they are. And if they continue with this kind of seriousness and dedication, with great passion toward laying their hand on the league, I don't see anything stopping them. I don't see them, losing 2 games in the remaining 3 games. So it's as good as saying that Enugu Rangers is already champion in the waiting.
Enugu Rangers champion in the waiting. Of course, we'll continue to review the decision of the disciplinary committee of the Nigeria Premier Football League, and they have imposed some fine and monetary fines and sanction on the both clubs for violating the rules guiding the Nigeria Premier Football League. We'll go on a quick break now. When we come back, we'll talk about the Super Eagles game and more of the results from across the continent and beyond. Don't forget, it's Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people. All of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very family. Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. You human trafficker.
Honorable They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Driver, why you just a jack us up and down like
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Greenwoods went the goal. Goalkeeper missed it.
He does a right hand and down goes Hooper straight away. Oh, what a point to end it on.
So now this is when they're at their best. That's when they're 12 years for this. So drink it in.
Still goes through on New Zealand. What he loves to be immortality as an athlete. 19.79. It's a goal. It's 8 goals.
If you're just joining us, still Sports Extraordinary here on Atlantic Television and Network. All right, we talked earlier about the Nigeria Premier Football League decision of the disciplinary committee and on Rangers FC and then the Eyimba. And of course, the reaction continues to trade that particular decision. A lot of sanctions, there are monetary sanction and levy on the club for violating the rules of the game. But let's talk about, let's shift our attention now. Let's talk about the game that was played at the Hope Boni Stadium in Ivory Coast yesterday, where the Scures, of Benin Republic not trashed, so to say, but got the better of Super Eagles of Nigeria. And after that game, a lot of reaction also have traded that particular one, and a lot of persons have been saying so much about the team, what next now. But I have Mike here, and let me get your thought on what you think about that game. It looks like we're going back to that period where people will soon no longer be interested about the Super Eagles, because after 2 games, it looks like everything that happened in the Nation Cup. It looks, just too early, but it looks like we have abandoned all that we achieved in the last 4 months, in Ivory Coast, and people are beginning to be pessimistic about the team. What went wrong with the Super Eagles? Is it about the defense, the attack, or what could be attributed to the loss yesterday to Benin Republic?
Well, for me, I think it's very simple. What went wrng is that Finidi George went wrong. That is what went wrong. It's not about
a lot of accusation coming the way of the coach. You know, yes, the coach takes the glory and he also takes the blame. But beyond the person of Finidi George, what are the things that you feel that he should have done that he did not do? I know he takes the authority of the team, so it's difficult to really pull out any blame, any strings of blame without him in the picture. But what is that he could have done right, but he failed to have done it?
I think he failed to deploy 2 men up front as a striking force. You can't be playing Benin Republic where you needed all 3 points at all costs and you are going with a lone striker. Playing a lone striker, it makes your chances limited because when the defenders discover that you are playing a lone striker, their job is cut out very short. They will just mark the lone defender, the lone striker out there and make your team look ordinary, which is what Benin did against us yesterday. So I think for me, Finidi George got his tactics wrong. People complained in the first game against South Africa where you actually deployed 1 man up front, talking about Paul Onachu. Throughout the entire duration, Paul Onachu just had 1 shot on target, which is that nodding, which the keeper, picked up seamlessly. He didn't actually even trouble the goalkeeper. People complained. There were foul cry everywhere. Because, Nigerians, we are very passionate in terms of football because this is the only uniting factor here in the country. Take away the beauty of football, take away the excitement, the euphoria that comes with Super Eagles playing and getting victory from the heart of football lovers and from heart of teaming Nigerian supporters out there. Then I tell you everything is more like a messed up as it stands right now. So I go for Finidi George. I blame him because he did not get his tactics right. If he had deployed the 4-4-2 formation, play 2 strikers up front, I think that should have given us the leverage to be able to apply more pressure against their defense line. By so doing, they'll be pegged back. They wouldn't even want to come back. Come up front to attack because they know fully well that their defense line will be on their toes to make sure that they'll keep the 2 strikers in check. But then again, it looked very easier for them just because of the way Finidi George was able to set up his play. I think he got his tactics wrong, and I still continue to blame him because looking at what is done right now against a certain Benin Republic, for crying out loud. Don't forget, this is a team that just finished second in the African Cup of Nations. We finished second. Most of these players are still very much around, and you cannot use these same players that finished second in the African Cup of Nations to get a positive result. And you tell me that Finidi George is a man for the job. I told you before now that Finidi George will be definitely judged after the game against Benin Republic, and that is why the judgment is coming up against him right now across different sectors, across different strata from Nigerians. So for me, I think it's more like a big disappointment that Benin Republic, of all people, who when you talk about football, I don't think they come close to the Super Eagles. But we are now begging, cap in hand, to even get a point against them. Even though we scored first, we failed to hold on to the lead. We should have scored more goals. You can't be playing against Benin Republic and you are very lackadaisical. I also blame the players as well. There is this. It looks as though the players are not passionate enough to go to the World Cup. Having suffered the last World Cup where we didn't make it through, I thought maybe the players would come out gun blazing. Despite the tactical, ineptitude of Finidi George, if I may use that word. But the players should understand what is at stake at this point in time. If Finidi George is not getting his tactics right, it behoves on the players, on the pitch of play, to deliver the mandate, because the World Cup is obviously the biggest pinnacles in terms of football. And I know most of these players haven't been in the World Cup. They want to go to the World Cup. So their actions in the pitch of play should have been able to point to the fact that even if Finidi George goofed in his tactical disposition, then the players will as well rise up to the occasion, use their own ability, use their own wealth of experience and skills out there to get the job done against Benin Republic. So I think the blame is on both sides, but majority of it should go to Finidi George, because you want to say, yes, the players were playing according to the dictate, according to the direction and instruction of the coach. So that is why I'm giving the bulk of the blame to Finidi George, who's for me, I think he goofed, from all angles, looking at his setup play.
Looking at his setup play, of course, the thing now is, now that we have seen this now, it looks like our destiny is no longer in our hands, but can this be remedied?
Well, I think we need to go to the market, get a big calculator so that we'll start punching. We are back in the days where we begin to punch calculators to see if we can scale through. We have about 6 games to go. If we can win 5 of those games, I think we still start in a pole position. But then, like I said, we need to start looking for a consigned calculator right now so that we'll begin to punch. If South Africa get to draw today, if Zimbabwe win their next match, and Benin Republic get to lose their next match, this is the situation where we find ourselves right now, where we begin to punch the calculator and begin to play the devil's advocate. That, in fact, we are more like handicapped as it stands right now, because it is no longer within our purview to determine if Nigeria Super Eagles is going to qualify. It rests on the odds of teams like Benin Republic, Lesotho, Rwanda, and South Africa. But if they falter, then Nigeria may just find their way and crawl back into, into the mix of trying to get the ticket. But I tell you, it's already out of our hand right now as it stands.
All right, we hope that, in the coming days, things will be looked into. But the minister have also expressed sadness, and he has called for immediate, he has summoned the NFF to give a full report of the 2 games that was carried out, because I know the sports ministry expended so much transporting on a private flight some of the players just to encourage them, and but it looks like some of these players just finished their league and they just came back with the new coach. They just came there and do the value pattern and lost 2 games. The draw here at home is like losing to.
It's more like losing the game.
South Africa, and the man has, as proactive as he is and he's known for, he has called for accountability and report of the World Cup qualifiers.
Yeah, I think very, very timely. I just want to trust that the Minister of Sports can actually, get a proper feedback. But then, does that actually even solve the problem? It doesn't. I listened to the NFF officials instead of talking the issue at hand. They were rather blaming the Benin for playing our old anthem. How does that add up to the fact that we were unable to beat Benin Republic? The only report is that they are blaming Benin Republic for playing the old anthem. I think for me, it's very embarrassing and it's shameful. I believe that Ibrahim Gusau need to answer a lot of questions. First, Emmanuel Amunike, who was one of the front runners for the job, he has coached about 7 teams in 5 different countries. Finidi George, how many teams have he actually coached? Then looking at the pedigree and the coaching experience of, in a very tight corner where we can not actually say yes, that the Super Eagles is still very much in the race for the World Cup ticket. And for me, start from there. How on earth were you able to do your evaluation and research? Because we understand the NFF Technical Committee, they were divided into whom to appoint or whom the law should fall upon. So I think it starts from there. What were the processes that they went through? What were the criteria that they went through to peruse through the document, through the CV, through the coaching profiles of Emmanuel Amunike and that of Finidi George before they were able to make the appointment? I think that is where you start from. Let us know the monkey hand that were behind that wrong appointment. I think for me, that is where you should start before you start.
Do you think that the NFF they've done some review of the game to say that the action was wrong? I don't think that why they are pained. I'm not sure that they have accepted that they made a mistake. So it's about something went wrong, and maybe we'll just carry on like this and we will not be part of the World Cup, because at this point they signed a 2-year contract. maybe early days to start pointing a accusing finger on the coach. Don't you think so?
I think for me, a man that knows his job is very clear. If you get to a barbing shop right now and you want to shave your head, the way and manner the barber is able to hold a clipper, it definitely tells you within you that indeed this person knows how to barb. If you get a man that doesn't know how to barb, the way he handles the clipper, even you, he will dictate from the way he handles the clipper. So I think for me, looking at what Finidi George have done in the 4 games that he has played, is very evident. It is crystal clear that Finidi George doesn't have the onions to be able to tinker this team around and get the best out of the enormous talents that we have, because Nigeria is definitely blessed with great players all across the globe. But you look as though Finidi George is not that man to get the best out of these players, because having played 4 games, he has lost 2 of those 4 games played, 1-1 and 3-1, scored 4 goals and conceded 6 goals. So judging from these statistics, then you will tell me if Finidi George is the right man for the job or not. And looking at these teams that he played, you may want to say that these are teams that, I mean, they are weaker teams compared to the Super Eagles. But we struggle against them. The Lesotho we struggle against. Rwanda we struggle against. They also went away and picked very vital points for themselves over the week. So it's a clear indication that Finidi George is not the man to get us to, you know, the pinnacle of Nigerian football, where we bounce back to the glory days where we see Super Eagles, whenever they are playing, you see people jostling to go home early so that you can watch them, because you know definitely they are going to give you joy, unlike what we are seeing right now. I mean, there is lack of interest right now. Even yesterday's game, I tell you, not even many people knew that there was game yesterday, just because of the disappointment against South Africa. So we need to find a way to remedy this situation.
Find a way to remedy this situation, and of course, we hope that the NFF and the Sports Ministry will look critically to the, to do critical findings where we have gotten it wrong and see what we can do to remedy it as we prepare for the next phase of the World Cup qualification. All right, away from that, let's talk about the preparation for the Euros. It's 3 days to the start of the Euros 2024, and of course I can tell you that Germany is already bubbling and preparation getting towards a particular one. Massive turnout, massive preparation. On Thursday evening we'll do more review on the Euros and what the teams, what they stand to gain. We'll do a review of all the group and probably where the teams expected to do wonders in the city of Germany. And of course, Mike, already you can see friendlies here and there, some teams already popping out a good result in preparation for that particular, but somehow, like the African Cup of Nations, the Euros these days, you know, you can never say never, because even though the teams, I mean, if you look at what transferred in the club, some of the best good players who transfer their club form to the national team. I mean, it's difficult to really say that these are underdogs and these are best, because it's a mixture of the best of players in different leagues in Europe.
Yeah, definitely expect to see fireworks at this year's Euro, because we have some of the key teams who also are very good. Teams like Germany, France, Portugal, you know, even Belgium, England, not also left aside. So this year's Euro promises to be very exciting. Looking at the number of stars, the arrays of stars that have light up different leagues across 5 major leagues in the world. They are also very much in it. The likes of Harry Kane, Kylian Mbappe, Jude Bellingham. So these are some of the big names, you know, that you certainly want to see in this year's Euro. And not also forget that Cristiano Ronaldo as well, you know, is also included in the Portugal squad as well. So I think it's going to be a mouth-watering account. I would just hope that most of these teams that is tipped, you know, to be the favorite or possibly get to the final will definitely live up to the expectation, because teams like England, they are one of the favorites according to bookmakers. But for me, I think England need to prove me wrong this time around, because England has been you know, underachiever since the 1966 World Cup. I think they have not been able to hit their peak. I think the only time they come close to it is under this Gareth Southgate, where they went far in the last Euro and all of that. But then, can they be able to live up to this consistency and maintain the form and maintain this high hype that people are tipping them for? Can they do it? It still remains a very big question that Gareth Southgate and his men truly need to answer when the Euros officially kicks off in 3 days' time.
And let's see how that one plays out. And I'll get that massive preparation. But one thing very striking is that we'll do a review of that one and then see how far it goes. There are friendly games to watch out for today in preparation for the, it's still the FIFA window, and so a lot of friendly games to expect. But Mike, what is happening in club football? It looks like national team issues have taken shine. And of course, when the season does ended, and you have a FIFA window, so it's just going to be like, the club activities are over, and everybody just rolling out preparation for the Euros, preparation for World Cup qualification, and then the friendly games for those who will not be having World Cup qualifications.
Yeah, I think every attention right now is diverted to World